Hi folks, me again, back with another short clip on mental health matters in the workplace. And today I just want to touch quickly on the issue of medication. I was recently asked to write an article for a company's newsletter just on general sort of mental health awareness types of things and a bit about burnout. And they sent me a series of questions, and one of the questions was, what alternatives would you recommend to a person who doesn't want to take prescribed medication? So this raised quite a bugbear of mine, and before I even explain why, let me just emphasize the fact that I'm a therapist. I'm not a psychiatrist, so I'm all for therapy. But I have to just let everyone know that there is a place for medication, and it's not always a choice. And I find that when I run my workshops or my webinars, I find that when I make an analogy between mental illness and physical illness, it helps people to understand. So let me just ask you the question. If you had epilepsy, would you take your anti-epileptic medication? And I think most of you would say yes, because the alternative is not good. If you were asthmatic, would you use your inhaler? Again, I think most of you would say yes. And if you were diabetic, would you take your insulin? Yes, I think would be the answer. If you were diagnosed with cancer and your doctor recommended chemotherapy, would you do the chemotherapy? Probably yes, because the alternatives to all of those are pretty poor outcomes. So when it comes to mental illness, it's exactly the same with some of the illnesses. Okay, so for example, it goes without saying that with your more severe illnesses like your schizophrenia and your bipolar disorder, if you don't take the antipsychotic medication and the mood stabilizers, you will relapse and you will become dysfunctional. And you will then not be living a very productive life, and you will also be a very difficult person for your family to live with. So in those cases, it's not a choice. I really just don't think it's a choice, because the alternative is a very poor outcome. With some of the other mental illnesses that are maybe not so severe, so some of your depressive types of disorders and some of your anxiety disorders, therapy might be the best place to start, but don't underestimate the possible benefits of taking medication. They do work, and sadly, my experience over the last 30 years in the mental health industry is that the medication is about as poorly understood as the mental illnesses themselves. For some reason, and I've got personal experience with this, apart from professional experience, but for some reason people think that if you take medication because of a depression or anxiety, then for some other reason you're a weak person, or you're an addict, you're a drug addict. And it's just so not the case. And I think with my mission to educate people on what mental illness is all about, part of that is including the treatment of mental illness. And so my answer to this person about what are the alternatives to medication, sometimes there are some therapeutic alternatives, but in certain cases you have to take the medication. The alternative is just not worth living with, whether you're the patient or the family. Okay, I hope my point is clear. Do get in touch if you have any questions about this. I look forward to hearing from you. Righty ho, bye.